Sales for every Nintendo game with Mario involved in the title, from the NES to the Wii U, total up to just over 445 million units, and is the best-selling console series in history. Angry Birds, in just 4 short years, has been downloaded over 2 billion times. Welcome to the first episode of Season 2 of Winter Wins, the series that presents a topic and asks for you to kindly either throw roses or rotten tomatoes at them. Or, in other words, as the name suggests, a win or a wince. Let's get started. The topic that I ended last season with was the idea of a PlayStation 5 hitting shelves in around 5 more years. Winter Wins' most successful video to date with over 14,000 views, why there will be a PS5 in 2020, proved that a win with 91 wins and over 35 winces. Of course, thanks to companies like Apple pumping out new iteration of its iPhone at 12-month intervals, I'd imagine some of you wouldn't mind getting a next-generation PlayStation console from Sony every year. How about you guys let me know where you shop for your pants, because I can't seem to find them with pockets quite as deep as yours. Today we'll be pulling out the speculative time hopper and peering into the future of video game consoles. More specifically, could we in fact be witnessing the end of an era of stationary gaming systems? The team over at Big Fish Games reported back in January that in the United States, saturation of the mobile phones is now over 100%. This means that on average, every single person in the United States has a cell phone or a smartphone. Pair that with expectations from the soothsayers over at VentureBeat.com that the Chinese mobile gaming community is set to explode with a 93% increase next year, and we begin to see a clearer picture of the huge market that game developers are gravitating towards. And if you know anything about how the game industry operates, you should be aware that the head honchos and shareholders running things at most of the big publishers today care about primarily one thing: money. What's the easiest way to get lots of money? Sell to a lot of people. It's easy to look at the dismal financial performance of portable gaming systems such as Sony's PSP line and reason that mobile gaming could never replace consoles, but let's broaden our focus. For those of you who are limiting their view to dedicated gaming devices solely, remember, video games extend to smartphones and tablets as well. The first argument that's likely to stir in most gamers' minds is the lack of high performance in mobile devices. Let me put that horse out to pasture. Past generation's PlayStation 3 was no doubt a powerhouse, cranking out a suggested 230 gigaflops. The cell microprocessor is a thing of beauty. What if I told you that the latest in mobile processing from NVIDIA is capable of pumping out 326 gigaflops? The Tegra K1 even houses up to 8 gigabytes of DDR3 memory. Compare that to the measly 256 megabytes from the PS3. Oh, and did I mention that it's also capable of pumping out 4K resolution? And before a bunch of you start cutting in with talk of GPUs and highly technical stuff, my point is simply this: mobile specs are way more impressive and capable than what most of us realize. Anyways, let's switch gears. While we're talking about lots of money, here's some big numbers. The total revenue for gaming worldwide in 2012 stood at around $66 billion, with an estimated rise to $70 billion in 2013, according to research from Newzoo. For a point of reference, in 2007 that number was closer to $45 billion. And if you want to go back even further, global video game sales in 1994 were only $7 billion that year. Yeah, not what I'd call pocket change, but still, that's 10 times less than what the market's been pulling in recently. Then again, with big enough pockets. Still waiting on the hookup on those pants. The signs are all around us, from Nintendo's darling Super Smash Bros. That made its handheld debut this year, to talks from industry analysts at Kotaku, with co-director of Final Fantasy XV's Hayame Tabate, that his upcoming RPG could be the last in the series to see a console release. There's no denying. Industry giants are mulling the idea of migrating their flagship franchises to devices that reach more people. Speaking of Final Fantasy, here's another bit of information that adds fuel to the possibility of the video game industry becoming primarily mobile. Hironobu Sakaguchi, creator of the Final Fantasy series, as well as executive producer of Kingdom Hearts, Parasite Eve, and many more, is seemingly preparing for consoles to go extinct. Back in 2002, Sakaguchi left Final Fantasy's home company, Square Enix, to later start his own game development studio. Mistwalker, founded in 2004, hasn't produced a single console game since 2011, with the past 3 titles being released exclusively for Android and iOS devices. Still think mobile gaming is for the birds? Well, you'd be right, if you're an angry bird, or a flappy one. With Rovio's cash cow up to somewhere north of 2 billion downloads, the safe bet is that a strong majority of those installs are on smartphones or tablets. Flappy Bird, in its short existence, shot up to 50 million grabs, reportedly at its peak making $50,000 a day in ad revenue alone. So what is the mobile gaming industry shaping up to look like? If the industry wants hardcore gamers to buy into the change, the first challenge is going to be the controller. Whether it be the Vita or any of Nintendo's many flavors of the Game Boy, nothing has quite nailed the comfort of a full-fledged system controller. The problem lies in combining portability with functionality and comfort. It's kind of like the awkward gamer, rocker, teenage guy and star cheerleader mixing it up at the homecoming dance. A match is probably just not meant to be. So the question really turns into this: what does the ideal mobile device look like? First off, I see a future of all screen devices being able to stream to one another with a minimal effort. Kind of like how when you walk into your home and your device connects automatically to your Wi-Fi. Smart devices will link streaming display capabilities to larger screens in the house. And as for that controller issue, on-the-go gaming might be doomed for a while to less than perfect controller designs due to the average person not being able to fit a full-size controller into their pockets. Where do you get your pants? But when you get home, that standard controller will be waiting for you to automatically sync to your mobile device, along with that 8K resolution holographic television. The only thing left to do now is to ask the question: mobile gaming taking over the video game industry? Win or wins? Remember, if you don't feel like typing out your vote, I count thumbs up as a win and down as a wins. Also, a huge thank you to each and every one of my subscribers. I really appreciate you all. Thanks for watching. Be adventurous, be creative, and stay entertained. That's a tough one to... Before we know it, the only thing we're going to need stationary computer systems for is replicating black holes, controlling particle colliders, and keeping the secret formula for Coca-Cola safe from the prying eyes of the robot Nazi space invaders camped out on the dark side of the moon.
Oh, ich kann kotzen!